Hey guys, another video for our Wheels in Japan playlist. So you might have seen a video we made recently talking about the big car boom that's happening in Japan. It seems to be getting bigger. We seem to be seeing more and more of these big cars, particularly this type, these sort of minivan type design cars, 7 or 8 seater, pretty big by Japanese standards. They're quite big cars, quite big inside. Particularly when you consider they're 7 or 8 seat cars and the average family in Japan has 4 people, 2 children, 2 adults, and not the biggest people in the world either. So we're seeing a lot of people driving around in these cars, just one person and one small kid, or even 4 people. And what triggered this video was we had a bunch of mothers, a mother group, come and visit us recently. They had a bit of an event happening, a bit of an afternoon happening at our house. And some of you might have seen over the years, we've shown you the narrow streets around where we live. 3 of the mothers couldn't bring their cars to our house because they were too worried about bringing them down the narrow street. So it's not that narrow. This is the street concerned, and there is a big car in front of us. Now we've actually brought a 2-ton truck down this street, so it's not that bad. But just what we see happening is people have spent their driving lives driving small cars, and then they find themselves with one of these big ones and don't necessarily have the skill to drive them. So 3 of the ladies that were coming to our house asked us if they could park somewhere else and we could come pick them up. And here's a bunch of cars coming and going from the local school. That's the other thing we see a lot of. So that's one thing that seems to be a problem. Japan's just not a practical place to have a car of that size. There's always small streets that you have to go around. If you don't have the skill to be able to do it, it's sort of impractical. What we find a lot too around our area is if you come face to face with one of these cars and someone has to reverse, it's usually not the driver of one of these, because usually they can't. They just don't seem to be able to reverse them for any distance, which means we always end up backing up to let them through. The other funny thing to watch sometimes is the parking. Sometimes places where they have to park in some small spot, and they'll try and reverse park in and then try it again and try it again and try it again, because it's just all too difficult. So we did actually rent one of these years ago. We had some friends come visit, so we rented one of these, the Toyota Voxy, which is one of these that we're showing you. And they are excellent car to travel around in because they're huge inside. They're really spacious inside. You can fit 7 or 8 people and their stuff. So they are excellent to get round in for a holiday or something, but just for day-to-day living, it's just not terribly practical for Japan. So it's a funny trend, and the gasoline ones chew gas. The Voxy that we had chewed gasoline like we couldn't believe. So they're sort of not terribly practical. They do have hybrid versions, of course, and there's probably fully electric versions that we don't know about. But it's the boom, and we're seeing a lot of them. They're all over the place, these things. Seems to be a big thing for families. Even if they've only got one little kid, they still have the 7 or 8 seater car. It's a really big boom. And then, as is the case in Japan, when people start doing this, everyone starts doing it. That's actually parked outside the farmhouse, that one. That's one of the mothers that did get in. Anyway, the big car minibus boom in Japan. There it was. More videos coming soon.